The film this week is a German film called Ist Wieder Da, or Look Who's Back. It's an adaptation of a book that's by Timur, Vermes, which is also called Look Who's Back, or Ist Wieder Da. It's a very interesting movie that diverts a fair amount from the book, more in sense of kind of what happens, but also in tone. The book aimed much more to be kind of like in the thick of it, much more hard-nosed political satire, when the film aims to be a lot more like Borat, that being using sort of the leading character, the Borat-style character, as a kind of positioning point for events to occur around, while in the book, sort of the Borat-style character is the point where the satire happens around. And the Borat-style character for this is Hitler.
Ich habe das Problem, dass überall, wo ich hinkomme, man mich nicht mehr anständig grüßt.
The plot of the book and of the movie is Hitler returns, comes back almost from the dead. It's not really explained how. It's just when Hitler decided to kill himself, he comes back. And those history nerds, it's not actually the Hitler that was around at the end of World War II. The Hitler at the end of World War II was all kinds of fucked up, like half his face was fucked up, and all those things like that. This is like 1938 Hitler. And on the note of Hitler, surprising that sentence actually makes sense, the person who plays him, Oliver Masucci, he is really good. He is very good. He is very convincing. He gets the facial mannerisms of him as well, but his way of talking, his way of making Hitler kind of creepy, by not shouting or anything like that, just by making him a very disturbing presence, is really good.
Ich ließ die Luft in meine Lungen strömen und gab der Stille einen Klang.
But the most interesting part of this movie is the fact that it is like Borat, because in the Borat movie, Borat was presented as the endearing moron. In this movie, does the same thing, but with Hitler. So it ends up being Hitler, the endearing moron. Pendulum of the movie swings one way and presents him as the fool, and then it swings the other to remind you that this is Hitler.
Aber ich frage Sie, warum über Ausländer Witze machen? Wenn man die Ratten im Haus hat, dann holt man nicht den Clown, dann holt man den Kammerjäger.
It does that for the vast majority of the movie, where it presents him as the fool, as well as going, you're laughing with, and sort of comunicado with Hitler. It's Hitler, literally Hitler. Until I get to the last part of the movie where there are just some scenes which are just uncomfortable.
Hitler, wollen Sie ablegen?
Ja, bitte.
Das ist zu nichts gekommen.
Das ist Hitler.
Das nie wieder. Ein englischer Bomber in die Nähe.
Wer redet denn vom Bombenkrieg? Von denen ist niemand im Bombenkrieg gestorben. Sie haben alle vergast. Damals haben die Leute am Anfang auch gelacht.
This is a movie that is self-aware, has some elements of self-reference, and it provokes a reaction from its audience, both positive and negative. This just ends up making the film rather poignant. It doesn't have a specific message about Hitler or about nationalism or about any of that. The only message that it can say it really has is where it asks you to look back at history without just going to the binary end of the spectrum of this person's a monster, so don't talk about him.
Sie verstehen es nicht. 1933 wurde kein Volk.
Sie sind ein Monster.
Bin ich das? Dann müssen Sie aber auch diejenigen verurteilen, die dieses Monster gewählt haben.
It's a fairly standard satire comedy movie, piss take with Hitler style movie that there is, but this movie is so worth seeing, especially now with the current context of the last year and a half that has happened since the movie came out.
Yeah.
kann man arbeiten.